The Preventing Private Paramilitary Activity Act of 2024 would make it illegal for you to be a responsibly armed citizen. This bill would criminalize private civilian firearms training, church security training, and undermine the very purpose of the Second Amendment. After watching this video, I encourage you to read through the bill yourself and then share this video with others. But first, let's talk about some definitions and specifically how this bill defines a private paramilitary organization. Any group of 3 or more persons associating under a common command structure for the purpose of functioning in public or training to function in public as a combat support, law enforcement, or security services unit. Now let's read through what it defines as private paramilitary activity and what it would criminalize. 1. Publicly patrol, drill, or engage in techniques capable of causing bodily injury or death, interfere with, interrupt, or attempt to interfere with or interrupt government operations or a government proceeding, interfere with or intimidate other persons in that person's exercise of any right under the Constitution of the United States, assume the functions of a law enforcement officer, peace officer, or public official, whether or not acting under color of law, and thereby assert authority or purport to assert authority over another person without the consent of that person, or train to engage in any activity described in paragraphs 1 through 4. Now, they do have some exceptions, but unless you, your private security team, your emergency preparedness group, or your church security team are government sanctioned, then they're not going to be covered under those exceptions. Many are saying that this bill will not get passed, and they're probably right. But make no mistake, this bill is not a notional attempt to appease their voters. If the sponsors of this bill could get it passed, they would, and they would be elated. Some have said that this bill is just in response to groups like the Proud Boys, the January 6 events, or Islamic radicals. But even if that's the case, the intentions of a piece of legislation like this matter much less than its unintended consequences. For instance, bans on AR-15s are supposedly in response to mass killings, though they result in the disarmament of millions of law-abiding citizens. And as uncomfortable and potentially dangerous as it is, groups like those mentioned have a right to assemble and train in the US. Just like the First Amendment protects speech that we disagree with, it also protects the rights of groups we don't like to assemble. The unavoidable reality is that with freedom and liberty comes risk. And by the way, we already have criminalized conspiracy to commit crimes. So if a group is training and conspiring to commit illegal activity, they can already be prosecuted under the law. And I don't buy for a second that this is some innocent bill sponsored by a well-meaning politician. This bill and many like it are intended to make you 100% reliant on the government for your safety and security. And if you want to know what you can do to stop despotic, overreaching, and unconstitutional bills like this, then click on this video. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, train to a higher standard.